back to the Right Passion Podcast, where we delve into the fascinating world of superheroes. In today's episode, we're going to take an inspirational journey with the superhero, you guessed it, Gambit. Now, who's Gambit? Oh, let me get some visual representation. Gambit. Who is Gambit? Now, this is a joke, so don't worry about it. Gambit is an X-Men, a thief, many things. But his name is Remy LaBelle. And I might have just botched it up, so don't worry about it. But who was he? He was at first an outcast, a thief that was a part of the Thieves Guild. He was a part of this group because he needed something to be a part of. His brother was in it, so his brother said, you know what, you coming in this too. And as a thief, he stole from the innocent and did a lot of things he was not proud of. But he later joined the X-Men and became a symbol of redemption, resilience, and just overall overcoming the past. Now, his journey is riddled with mistakes, regrets, and a lot of things that he wasn't proud of, but it's his journey. And it showed us a lot of things. It showed me a lot of things that I believe I need to bring on this podcast to show all of you or tell you all about it. Because we can learn some valuable things from it and also use it in our day-to-day lives because we're not perfect. If you're perfect, raise your hand. I'm not. And that's okay. So we can use our past, whether how bad or how not as bad as it might be, to bring ourselves up and to motivate ourselves to make change. Because that's what we're going to do with this hero. He made some life-changing decisions that put him forward rather than keep him in the past. So let's join me as we take this journey with Gambit to redemption. Now, before we start with the journey though, I forgot to say what his powers were. Biokinetic energy, he was able to charge and harness it. Telepathy, he was able to counteract telepathy attacks, card throwing, and martial arts. So he had wide range in his power category. Now, number one, from shadow to light. Remy LaBelle was born and raised in Louisiana, and he was an outcast. He was an outcast that was trying to find his way in Louisiana. Now imagine being a mutant and not looking like anybody around you. Like you look different. And I'm saying different because he had, correct me if I'm wrong, red or purple eyes. So everywhere he went, people would look at him like, where's his eyes? Oh, he's a mutant. Mutie. That's what they used to call him. And it sucked. But he found solace in this group called Thieves Guild. What's Thieves Guild? Thieves Guild was a group. It was a group that stole from people. They stole from people and they looked up to this higher power. I forgot the name of it, but just check out X-Men on Disney Plus. And they gave each other camaraderie. And they were together. Also, his brother was in it, so that also helped. But he was a part of that group. But he had this innate yearning to want to do better. His potential was screaming at him. Now, he didn't understand his potential until he eventually took the step towards becoming an X-Men and joined the X-Men. There, he changed his mindset from stealing and taking from people to actually being there for his fellow mutant kind, and just being a better person. His journey from shadow to light shows us that no matter what mistakes you made, you can come back from it. You can use it. Like his journey showed us that our past does not define us. And we can think about situations and circumstances that we're not proud of. And I bet a few come to light when we think about conversations that we've had, maybe arguments rather, and we said some things we didn't want to say. How do we learn from that? What can we take from that? Okay, for instance, you have an argument with someone, it may be a loved one or a friend, and you know that you're right, or not even that. You have a point, and that point is so strong and emotional. You say it anyways, and it burns the bridge of you and that other person, loved one, friend, or whoever. And if you want to learn from that situation, you can start asking yourself questions like this: oh, was I, was it worth it? How can I learn from the situation? And what you may learn is that you might be a person that acts off emotion. You might be that person that where if you're happy, you tell everybody everything. Like you just let it out. And then when you're sad or you're not even sad, when you're angry with someone, you're having an argument, instead of being logical and feeling the emotion and acting after the emotion, you just go straight into it and you let them know how you feel, what's gonna happen, and how you don't mess with them no more, get out my face. That is what you can learn from that. And how can you use it as a stepping stone? You can tell yourself, I'll be more aware of my emotions when I'm interacting with people. Because I'm gonna say this, I don't know if I said it before. I feel as though we're emotional beings having a human experience, so our emotions can cloud our judgment if we're not aware of them. You may think that you're calm, collected, and ready to engage, but sometimes you have to really check in with yourself to see where are you at emotionally, like what level are your emotions on, because sometimes we'll go into situations thinking that we're just even killed, but then we blow up on somebody, or we get so excited we tell them our whole plan, and there's no mystery to it. Not everybody in the world knows what you're going to do, and this can cause grave mistakes and a lot of stuff that you don't want to happen, but it's in the past. It happened. So now we're going to use this as a stepping stone. Get better. Don't let it define who you are. Rather, use it and get to the next place in your life where you can look back on it and be like, yeah, that was me, but I changed. And then if somebody says, well, man, you used to do this. Yeah, I did. But guess what? Do I do it now? No. Well, guess what? It's called character. All right. Number 2, embracing our unique abilities. Gambit, his talents, powerful. I'm talking about he used to grab a phone or anything. Boom. Boom. His biokinetic energy would just make things explode. Don't believe me? Go look at some comic books. Go look at X-Men 97. Go watch anything that involves Gambit in there. If he grabs something and he charges it, it's going to explode. Now, he felt as though it was a curse. Why? Because he didn't know how to control it. You saw me earlier saying boom, boom. So he would grab something and it would explode because he did not know how to actually charge it and keep it from exploding. So this sucked. And it sucked because how do I stop my innate abilities from exploding things? This is what he used to ask himself. And it wasn't until he sat himself down and actually learned what causes himself to charge up these certain, not abilities, but objects. When he did that through trial and effort, he began to accept his powers and his unique abilities. And that's what we can take away from this point. Embracing and accepting our unique abilities, no matter how unconventional they may seem. Because you might have this skill or this habit of being impulsive. Like somebody tells you to take action on something, you go do it. Or somebody tells you to go do this, do it. Good or bad, it don't matter, you do it. Now, in the eyes of the average person, you're horrible, you need to stop it. But for us here at this podcast, harness that ability. Don't think that it's bad. It's not bad. Just think about how can you utilize it in a conducive manner to make you better. When you start thinking that way, you start having different ideas on how you can tackle your challenges and just become a better person, a more valuable human being. So when you're able to do that, you can use that explosive impulsivity, or whatever you want to call it, the ability to take action. You can use it in a way that'll help you to get further in life than your peers. Because that your talent is what sets you apart. It doesn't matter if you do the same thing as everybody else. The way you do it is different, and that's all it takes. You want to know how can't even say. You want to know how I know that? Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl was the lead drummer. Well, he was the only drummer in Nirvana, and he used to beat the living daylight out of the drums. Now, for most drummers, they probably, when they heard him, they was like, wow, he beating the mess out of these drums. Why is he hitting it so hard? And to Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, the group, they said we need that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was awesome for him. But at first, Dave Grohl in some old interviews, I want to say, they said that he used to practice beating the drums or playing the drums on pillows. So that's why he beat it so hard. And through that, when he finally got his first set of drums, he was just going insane on the drums. And I'm sure at first he had some conflicting emotions or thoughts about it, because other drummers were like, why are you beating it so hard? Like, you don't have to beat these drums that hard, like you about to break the sticks. And he didn't know any better, because all he'd been practicing on was these pillows. So he had to become okay with the way he played the instrument, because his way of playing was not like these other people. But as he began to accept it, he got noticed by Nirvana. He started up his group Foo Fighters, and he's just worldwide. Like, he is known around the world. He's a known musician because he embraced his talent, no matter how unconventional, like I said, it was, and didn't feel as though, oh, I need to change up my style because these other drummers said I beat the drums too hard. No, I'm going to accept who I am, and I'm going to play these drums as hard as I can, and I'm going to be okay with it. This is the mindset he got into, the acceptance. You have to be the same way, because you only have one life, and your talents that you're giving, you're only given so much time to use them. And sometimes you might think, what if people think about me this way or that way? I'll give you newsflash. You should not be worried about what people think about you. If you're worried about what the peanut gallery thinks about you, that's a problem. You need to get that checked. But as I said, you're here for one purpose or multiple purposes. But when you find that talent, you need to accept it, use it, and actually embrace it. Because if you don't embrace it, somebody else is going to have either the same talent or a different talent, and you're going to feel moved by it. And I'm not talking about no positive move. I'm talking about you going to be angry. Why? Because you know you could have done the same thing, but you didn't have the confidence to actually do it. You were like, I can do that too. But you know what? Because I do it a certain way, I'm not going to do it. And then you'll sit back and 5-10 years will pass by, and you're watching someone doing the same exact thing that you want to do, whether it's working out, starting a podcast, teaching people how to do a certain skill, whatever it is you desire to do, somebody's going to do it. And you're going to be having conflicting feelings, because you'll say in your head, man, I could do it way better than him or her. She's not even doing this thing right. But guess what? You don't have to be doing it right. They're doing it. Are you? Now let's get back on topic. Lastly, number 3, the power of redemption. Now, I didn't get too much into Gambit's life story, but Gambit's life story is, from what we've heard and learned, it is riddled with mistakes, pain, and regret. Think about that. He's a young kid growing up, teenager, and he's constantly taking from people. He's constantly creating this feeling of lack, because when you go out of your way to do bad things to people, I'm not saying you automatically get back bad to them, but we're social creatures. So when you do something wrong to a group of people or a lot of people, you don't feel good. You might outside be like, haha, I took from them. But on the inside, you feel horrible. Why is that? Because we're social creatures. We want to be a part of something. And yes, he was a part of the Thieves Guild, but we're not here to take from people and feel good about that. That's not our natural order or natural way of doing things. So he felt conflicting emotions and pain when he did that. So this this is where his innate potential and yearning to be better stepped in. The pain got to a point where he had to decide, am I going to be a part of the Thieves Guild and be with my brother, or am I going to be bigger and better? Am I going to join my mutant kind and actually help the mutants rather than just steal from any and everybody, including the mutants too? And that was a powerful step. He actually had to look out of himself, decide what he wanted to do, and then he took action on it. He joined the X-Men. He went to Charles Xavier and not demanded, but asked to be a part of the group. And when he became an X-Men, I'm not saying it was just a quick change, but he felt the tide starting to change. Everything started to shift, and he became a hero. He became the X-Men. And with that new title came a new feeling. He didn't feel as bad as he was when he was in the past just taking from people and doing all these mischievous things. You know, it brought about this new feeling of hope, happiness, peace, confidence. And this is powerful for us because, as I said time and time again, our mistakes in our past, they don't define us. But through this journey that Gambit went through, it just shows us that we can redeem ourselves no matter how dark our past is, how low we've been, or whatever we did in the past. If you're alive today, you still have a chance. You can turn all that around. He used all those mistakes and regrets as a catalyst for change. And now with social media, we see that just about any and everywhere. You see people, they have had troubled past, whether it was their youth or whatever, and they use that to grow. Because it's something about that pain that made them get better. It's about our pain tolerance. When change usually happens when your pain threshold gets so high that you can't live the same way anymore. It's just like whatever you've been doing is unacceptable. And some people are able to manipulate that. And I'm not gonna say manipulate that in silences, but they're able to notice that and change it faster than others. Some people might take some time, might take some years. And then when they had enough, that's when they change. But just know whenever you do this, okay, say your time and you can redeem yourself. But I'm gonna get back to our mistakes in the past. You don't want to beat up on yourself and be stuck in the past because, say for instance, you're driving. You look forward. You don't look in the rearview mirror while you're driving and just like, oh, man, no, you're looking forward, because if you don't look forward, you're going to hit either a pothole, a car, somebody. There's a lot of things that are going to take you out if you're not focused on what you need to do. When you're focused on the past, you get stuck there and you can't even enjoy the things that are happening in the present. So it's a process. It's not easy. And it might take some time before you even feel okay with yourself after doing all these things, because if you look at yourself, you might be more disgusted with yourself than gracious, because you're like, man, I did so many people wrong. Why am I even here? But you're here for a purpose. You're here to show other people that not only our past doesn't define us, but it can be a catalyst for our growth, because we all have it. If you're alive and breathing right now, you have the chance and the ability to change. It's just, are you using it? Are you willing to change? It's not, are you capable? Everybody's capable, because you're seeing some people with less than what you have doing amazing feats. I can name a list of people that have done things without technology. They didn't have use. They did not have the use of technology, and they went far and wide. But us, we have technology. It kind of handicaps us. It depends. Helps us sometimes, but sometimes handicaps us. But we have so much that we can use and learn from. But are you willing to learn from your past? Are you willing to go back to the dark places that you went to, or the things that you did when you were younger, or just maybe even a couple months ago, and learn from that? Because if you want to move forward in life, The only way you can move forward is by letting go of the past, forgiving yourself, and learning from it. If you stay stuck in the past, you will not grow. You won't be able to get better because you're going to miss everything that's out in front of you because you're stuck back there. Now, I hope you learned a lot from Gambit and his journey, his inspirational journey of redemption. He is one of my underrated superheroes because he's a hero, but you just don't hear about him a lot. So, do some research on Gambit. Figure out what else you can learn from him in the comics, not videos, TV shows, movies. Learn from Gambit. I also like his charm. He's got some hypnotic charm. But find out some more things about Gambit, and whatever else you learn from Gambit, come back here and share it with me.